That's what they used to melt the ore in the furnaces. Then they put it into this, and then they poured it into molds, copper molds. And then after it's set, they could sell it or handle it. Well, we're going to head over this. I don't think they emptied it today, but if you want to look in it, you can.
No, thank you.
No, it's safe.
Those are nice seats there, aren't they?
You only used it if you didn't have any other choice.
Excuse me, guys.
They had one close to the station when it was 30 below zero, that iron.
Kind of cold. Yeah. Go fur lining.
I'm going to tell you a story about these toilet cars. They take them, they load them on the cage, and they take them down the mine, and they'll take them way back inside somewhere where most of the miners are working. And in case you gotta go, that was it. So every once in a while they had to take it out, not soon enough, but they'd have to take it out and they'd bring it out to the station, put it on the cage, and they'd take it out to their cleaning station and they'd clean them and put them back down. So one day the boss told these two guys to go in and get the toilet car and bring it out to the shaft. This was at the Stewart mine on the 3,800 foot level. And that's the mine just across Main Street. I don't know if you got on Main Street or not. I don't
Just very
so.
briefly.
What?
Just briefly.
Yeah. And it's up close to where I live. And they had a little locomotive that was just a little mansion motor. It isn't really any bigger than this. And it's battery operated. And that's what the two guys went in there to get it. And when they hooked onto it and bring it out, they only had room for the one guy in the cab, so the other guy had to ride back here. And this is where he rode. And when they come out to the station, there's a grade. They're on the 38-foot level. And the brakes wouldn't work on the motor, and the guy running that little locomotive says, "I can't stop it." He said, "Turn the brake, put on the brake." So he starts turning and turning and turning and turning. This isn't a brake, that's how they clean it. And it went down further than where those stagecoaches are, and it just scattered everything down the track. And when the boss seen that, he was ready to fire him. But he didn't want to fire him because he said, "You clean up every little bit of it." They had water lines down there where they had a water hose where they could pick up the heavy paper and stuff, and then they could take a water hose and wash it down. But I think they found out that this wasn't a brake.
Yeah. So there's a hole down here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's how they empty it.
Yes.
You just turn this wheel. Now we're going to go over to the Hella Spring. Go ahead.
I don't think so. Yes.
Anybody want to sit on?
I don't think so. No. Come on, come on.
Anybody else?
Come on, Zan.
Now, what level you want to go to? This mine is 3,800 foot deep. You want to go right to the bottom?
Yeah. Let's go to the bottom. No, better not. No, I'm not going. Bye. Have fun.
Now, before I turn you loose, see that cable?
Yeah.
That runs over. And the engineer, that's the hoist room over there. The engineer is there. You ring this bell over here and tell the engineer where you want to go. Where you want to go? Right to the bottom. Yeah. Okay. That'll be 8 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. We didn't go anywhere, did we? No. Look down there. It's covered over.
Gotta believe it for a minute.
No, it don't go no.
No cable.
Guys, no cable.
Darn.
No cable.
I was
guys.
wondering where the cable was going to be. I thought there was some on the side.
Well, this side is what they call the skip. They put the little cars ore on. See, this one, they use little cars and they get the ore and they bring it up here, and that's how they transfer the ore. At these bigger mines like the Stewart and the Kelly and the Mountain Con and all them, they have this big skip that's still here. Oh, it's gone. I think they got rid of it. But it's a big iron thing, and they can get about 20 ton in it. And they load it down below out of little chutes that come out. They drop the ore down and then they load it and they send it up, and it dumps automatically into a bin. And then it goes back down again. Anybody else want to just get on there to say you've been on it?
You know, it doesn't
Now
go
that you
anywhere.
know it's safe?
Yeah.
Usually these smaller mines, they have 5 of these hooked together in a row. They get 7 men on a deck. That's the state law. You're not supposed to put over 7 on. That's going down. Coming up, everybody wanted to go home, so they get as many as a dozen in there. They just jam me in there.
Kind of like
They get it loaded, and there'll be a couple of them run back here and they'll hit them, you know, and when it gives, they're in.
How many pounds of ore, Ed, did that cart hold? How many
Pardon?
pounds of ore did that car hold?
This is supposed to be what they call a 1-ton car.
2,000 pounds.
That would be level full, but copper ore, I'm sure some of that heavy copper ore, you fill that up and you got at least 2 ton in it. And we'll see on our tour, we'll see some, and I'll talk a little bit about the car and whatnot. Anybody else want to just get on it?
Here's where you're gonna go.
I might really turn you loose. You can see it's closed off. You can't go. Sometimes you gotta more to spook somebody and it makes
Don't
me
worry,
happy.
we'll tell you some.
Also, a couple of them, when we get in there, but they had to drill by hand. And I've worked in, opened up an old tunnel where they had used this hand steel. And the tunnels, you gotta bend over them. You know, when you gotta drill it by hand, you don't drill any more than you have to.
Right.
With these new machines, some of them, they tell them to drill it 7 feet high, the thing would be 10 or 11, and the boss be mad. So, you take the drill steel and you got it, you see what they call, it's a rock hammer, a double jacker, sledgehammer is probably what Hughes is called it, but they called it a double jack. One guy would hold it and the other guy to hit it. Every time they hit it, they'd turn it a quarter turn. Then they'd hit it again, they'd turn it another quarter. And they never drilled the holes over about that. And then they put their dynamite in there and then they'd blast it. Like I say, the skinny little tunnels, because in them days when you done it by hand, you didn't drill any more than you have to. Okay, we'll go over to the mine tunnel. Even way back in around 1800, they had air-driven little machines, and well, that was about 1900. They had little air-driven drills and machines and stuff that they could run off. Because nowadays, they're still run off mostly by air underground. You can ask questions, and I can hear it sounds good, but things just don't come through right. It's the machine pounding that hard rock for so many years. It's ruined my hearing. Okay.
Maybe he'll be back out when you come around.